So welcoming now, we have candidate number 15 representing Barangay Bonbon is Annie Rose Lee Ilola.
Hello. Am I audible? Good afternoon, everyone, and pleased to meet all of you.
Good afternoon.
Okay, so good afternoon, Ms. Bonbon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, so I believe that you are the tallest candidate. So, is or does height really matters when it comes to pageantry?
Well, I don't think that height really matters when it comes to pageantry because nowadays we don't even have the requirements, height requirement in the Miss Universe, right? And I believe that being a beauty queen is not about the physical aspect, but rather the attributes that lies within in you. So it's not, it doesn't matter. But for me, as a tall person, well, I think it's more an advantage.
Okay, so aside from your height, what do you think is your edge among other candidates?
I think my edge among other candidates is because I'm not thinking that beauty pageants is indeed a competition. I'd rather think it as an experience to be a better person and to be a beauty queen because I believe that have or winning titles is great, but what's greatest is to inspire people and how you treat them and how you leave an impression towards other people or having to impact the lives of people around you.
So this is just a follow-up. How about your weaknesses? What are your weaknesses?
Well, my weaknesses apparently and obviously, I talk faster, but I'm aware of my weaknesses and hopefully someday I can turn it into strengths.
Okay. Good afternoon again, Miss Bonbon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Before we go to the most or the rigid questions, would you please tell something about yourself?
Okay, so again, good afternoon everyone. My name is Lin-ay Milola, 21 years old. I'm currently taking Bachelor of Arts in Psychology in the University of the Philippines, Visayas, and I am a consistent honor student and I am a full scholar in the university. I am the youngest among four siblings. I came from a poor family. That's why I am determined to reach my dreams in life. Also, I like painting, drawing, and whenever I have free time, I like to do, I like bicycles or riding bicycles, and then writing poetry. Today, I actually wrote one, but it's on my phone. If you want, I can share it to all of you guys.
Okay. For a follow-up question, since you're a psychology student, do you think psychologically, what is the best gender to lead the country? Is it a male or a female?
Okay, thank you for that wonderful question, sir. But for me, gender does not matter at all because I believe that leadership depends on the person itself, not on his or her gender. And there's a lot of advantages and disadvantages if depending on your gender. For example, if you're a male, then maybe you're good at something, but I believe that all of us are equal, so that's why it does not matter at all. It is you as a person itself, your attributes in leading and commanding your people, and hearing the voices of the less fortunate. Yes, I'm sorry.
Sorry, it's clear.
It's an advantage.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so how do you assess government's response to pandemic? Do you agree with what the government is doing?
Well, I somewhat agree, but not 100%. It's because today's administration is, of course, not perfect. They even prioritize the renovation and creation of establishment, places, and beaches. Whereas there were a lot of needy people in the streets asking for help because of the pandemic, and there were a lot of people who lost their jobs. So I think it's not perfect. So I somewhat agree, but not 100%.
So what do you suggest?
I suggest that, of course, they should prioritize programs that can help the pandemic to lessen the impact of the pandemic in the lives of the Filipino people. So maybe they can. Actually, I have a person in mind, but I don't want to mention names because I don't want to reveal my political stance. But if it's needed, well, I can also reveal my political stance. But yes, I hope that the allocation of funds of government will be put into something useful and not on the pockets of the corrupt officials.
Okay.
So with that said, maybe the better thing to do is check the liquidation, transparency of LGUs, and etc.
Okay. Suppose we have here, suppose there is a candidate who is a transgender, also joining the same pageant that we are joining, and also another candidate who is an LGBT, a member of LGBT. Do you think it's fair enough for them to join and compete with you?
Well, I believe that transgender women are women, so we don't need to label them for me as transgender because I consider them as women. And yes, of course, I will allow them to join the beauty pageants as long as they have the qualifications qualifications required by the organization. So why not, right? So it has been a lot of time that they have their community has been discriminated. So I guess if they're not harming anyone, why would we even bother to stop them upon reaching their dreams to become a beauty queen and join Lin-ay Caluya 2022?
Okay. It seems that you are full of ideas, which you cannot digest in just
Yeah.
a matter of a minute or two explaining. I have here one simple question for you. Suppose you will be given a chance to meet and talk with our municipal mayor. What proposal would you offer to him regarding tourism development of this municipality?
Okay, thank you so much for the question. Well, if I'll be given a chance to confer with the mayor, it is indeed Caluya is indeed a beautiful island, right? But based on my experience, traveling here or going here is quite exhausting. So I will suggest, yes, that's true. But I will suggest to the mayor that maybe he will implement rigid port schedule to be followed by the ports. Because if it will be implemented, tourism will boost and as well as economic growth of the beautiful islands of Caluya.
Okay, nice answer.
The present is a picture of a social media empowerment, and some of the bloggers, or should I say social media influencers, are using the platform for their advocacy or their content. What can you say about cancel culture?
Well, I think cancel culture has both advantages and disadvantages. The existence of cancel culture is an advantage because the social influencers will become mindful to what they post on social media. But the disadvantage is that sometimes it's too tight in just one mistake, and in a little mistake they will cancel you already. So I think that's the disadvantage.
Okay, another question for me. I just want to get some idea.
Okay, sure, sir. Thank you.
What do you think is what is your stand, or what is your stand actually about the separation of the church and the state, especially that we are facing the election?
Well, I think it's okay for the church to have a voice regarding on politics, but there are limitations. For example, for me it's too far to endorse a candidate to the people. Instead, they should focus on what the biblical sayings and preach it to the people, and they should let the people decide who will the people vote or not for the upcoming election.
Thank you. Are you Catholic?
Yes.
Oh, so you should watch your words. Joke.
I'm so sorry.
No.
Is there any more questions?
I think you like conversation.
Yes, I like conversation.
Yeah.
Us too.
And I enjoy, and I would like to believe that we enjoy talking to you.
I also enjoyed talking to you guys. I learned a lot, and
Yeah.
thank you so much for the knowledge that you're imparting to me.
Yeah. I think everybody, or I mean most of us, are aware about that Kit Thompson and his girlfriend case. because of the Facebook post. And then we are also aware of the comments with that particular post. So, what can you say about the victim blaming that is happening in the Philippines?
I really got disappointed when I read the comments because people kept saying then that let's just wait for kids' side. But in fact, it does not matter what kids' side is because abusing a woman is totally incorrect and inappropriate.
So we are asking this question because you are into psychology. So
Okay.
maybe you can enlighten us about those.
And additionally, can I add?
Yeah, sure.
And additionally, when you abuse someone, there's no valid reasons for that because in the first place, you're not respecting human rights.
Okay. So how do you counter comments about it's okay if a woman is the victim? How about if the victim is a man?
Well, I don't have a double standard, so it is still the same. I will still blame the perpetrator of the abuse rather than blaming the victim.
Going back to Caluya and to the festival itself. Diba? I know so much now about about something which is related to your course. Now, what makes Caluya sadya?
Okay, so in just a short span of time staying here in Caluya, I meet a lot of hospitable people and approachable one. In fact, based on my experience, during our presentation practice in the gym of Salamento, people who are watching us is greeting us with their sweetest smile, and I think that's what makes Caluya sadya. Because people here always find a reason to spread positivity, and I think positivity is essential for the world to become better and for the world to thrive.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I think we have enough.
Yes, I think you.
Okay, thank you so much, guys.
Don't worry at all.
It's really fun talking to you.
Thank you so much. Once again, we are here with number 15, Heather Rose Lin-ay of Barangay Bonbon.